On October 16, 2019, Eric LeGrand's life would be changed forever. He played football for Rutgers College, and they traveled to MetLife Stadium for a regular season game against Army. On the kickoff, LeGrand unintentionally put his head down while sprinting, which resulted in the crown of his head going to the shoulder of the ball carrier. This would lead to LeGrand being paralyzed from the neck down. This is just one of the many examples of players leaving their bodies on the line and not receiving anything in return. So today I wanted to convince you why college athletes should be paid. Many people in the sports atmosphere are up in arms about college players not receiving a dime for the sacrifices in their respective sports. According to ESPN.com, $1.1 billion is the amount of money the NCAA collected in 2017. With that money, you could buy the Miami Marlins baseball team, the White House, and even a private island in the Bahamas, according to Reader's Digest. Most of this money is brought in from TV broadcasters who pay exorbitant amounts of money to the NCAA to broadcast an event such as March Madness. In the end, the players will not see $1 of this money. Name brand companies such as Adidas and Nike pay powerhouse schools such as UCLA, Ohio State, and Texas nearly $20 million a year to have the athletes wear their equipment, and those numbers is according to New York Times. The athletes still see none of this money. The problem with not playing college athletes is the amount of time it takes to be a Division I athlete. 35.4 hours a week of athletic activities during the season, according to Smart Assets. The athletes spend 2% of their time at a job, which leaves them with just $25 a week. Another issue that is serious is the injuries that a player can receive while playing their sport. On February 20th, 2019, Zion Williamson suffered a knee injury scare when his foot tore through his shoe. Zion was projected as the number 1 pick in the NBA draft and could have potentially made millions of dollars, or he could have lost it all if the injury was more serious. College athletes put their bodies on the line every game and at every practice for their school and should be justly compensated. If the NBA were to start paying college athletes, this would lead to the encouragement of top athletes from around the nation to go to their school. Many players such as Brandon Jennings and Emmanuel Mudiay have all attracted attention for their decision to forego college and play in foreign leagues or train for the NBA draft instead of going to an NCAA college. If more players begin to do this, this will lower the level of competition in the college sports, and the NCAA might be compelled to start paying their athletes. Lastly, I wanted to talk about the ESPN documentary Broke. In this documentary, it reveals the financial faults of many of the NBA players after they retire. According to the documentary, 60% of NBA players were bankrupt within the 5 years of retiring. And the reason for this is because they don't know how to handle their money. They have lavish spending habits, unethical financial advisors, and bad investments. So here are some of my solutions for paying college athletes. Making colleges pay for using their athlete's name to support a brand, such as Nike paying the college to allow them to use their product, and they pay them to do that. So I feel like the college players should receive some of that money. And having the NCAA give a percentage of their earnings to players for using their names to sell products. So next, I want to talk about what visualizations I see for college athletes being paid. If we were to teach players how to manage their money with trustful financial advisors who want the players to succeed rather than fail, this would allow for financial literacy for the athletes and will leave the door open for many opportunities after they are done with their sport. Having money in the student's bank account would allow them to live more like a college student. They'd be able to go out and order pizza or go see a movie on a Friday night, things a scholarship would not cover. Another reason that paying players would make sense is if a player has a career-ending injury. This would leave them with some money to fall back on so they could choose a career path that they would not have otherwise, because they wouldn't have the money to support them to continue their career. if they were to get injured or decided they didn't want to play sports anymore. They just spent all that time playing sports and not have any money or financial backing to continue their career when they're done. So after saying all this, I want to challenge you to consider to support college athletes being paid. The reasons I want you to consider this is because the NCAA is making money off their name. And I don't think it's fair. Being a college athlete is time consuming. Playing on that level day in and day out takes a toll on the body. I would like to thank you for listening to my speech, and I hope you have a great day.